And yes, we are back again. Train Effective Podcast. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Hashir, and I have a very special guest. As always, we always have special guests. Very special guest with me today. The one and only, probably the only, Tushar Tolani on this planet. How are you, Tushar, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah,
I'm doing
man.
well.
I'm killing it. But don't tell me you're just good. Tell me how you're actually doing.
I've just been well, training well. Health is good, so can't ask for more.
Love that. Love that. No. So everybody listening, I hope everybody is doing well as well. It's almost Christmas here in the States, so actually across the world, in the universe. Almost Christmas time, holidays. Everybody is seems to be back with their families and that, which is beautiful. Tushar, you're actually in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States, and that's your home, but nowadays you're not always in Atlanta, Georgia. Where are you based these days because of footy?
Yeah. So for the past year, I've been playing in Spain for two different teams. So first, I went in January of 2021. Then I went for 6 months, and then I came back for the summer, and then I just went again for another 3 to 4 months to Malaga, Spain.
Yeah, love that. Malaga has a La Liga team, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So next week, everybody, when you watch La Liga, just remember Tushar is probably on the bench. No, I'm just kidding. Not yet, but soon, very soon. Yeah, man, I wanted to get you on today because I think your story is very, I guess you could say, inspiring, but eye-opening for a lot of people. With this podcast today, I just wanted to kind of shed some light on something that a lot of players want to do, which is if you're in America or if you're not in Europe, moved to Europe at a young age and all these things. And I know in the movies or on TV or everything that we see on social media, it might seem a certain way that because we always see the highs. So I'd love to kind of shed light and for you to share your experience on how that was. So when did you? Because I know you've been to train effective camps before. You went to
Yeah.
our summer one in London in 2019, which is where I met you initially, and that was a grand time with Garong and Evan and Robert and Ralph and everybody there and Jake and everybody. But when did you first move to Spain by yourself?
So I went there originally in May of 2019 to check everything out and actually try out for the team so I can be accepted in it. And then I was supposed to go that year, but it didn't happen. And then I was supposed to go the next year, but then Corona came. So then I finally went in January of 2021,
Mm.
right when I
So
turned.
almost a year ago. Yeah.
Yeah, about a year ago.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool, cool. So, and I remember I've spoken to you we've chatted, we've been talking to each other for years essentially, um, and I don't know. I think it was in January 2021 when we spoke on a phone call about how it was going in that. But before going, what made you want to go to Spain? Because how old are you right now? You're
I'm 16.
16.
Yeah, I'm still 16. I'll be turning 17 next month.
Cool. So when you moved, were you still 16 or were
Yeah,
15 then?
I just turned 16 when I
You
left.
just turned 16. Cool. So tell me your thought process and moving to freaking Europe at such a young age. Not with your parents, by the way.
Yeah.
Not with your parents. By yourself. What was the thought process behind that? Why did you want to move to Europe when you were only 16 and probably could have just stayed in school and go on to play in college?
I felt like Spain, like the style of play, has always like suited me. I've always been watching Spanish teams from a young age, and like just the overall development in like all they do there is like football. So the overall development in like academies over there is just so much. Like I feel it's so much better than USA or like non-European countries because like over there they really focus on each individual player and like wanting to develop them for the future. Or here it's more like of we need to win the games or we want to win the trophy. Or in Europe, like I feel like the coaches and the staff really just focus on that player so they can breed them for the future. and that's
Mm.
why I feel like it could benefit me a lot, and it did already in the past year, and I see a big difference in my game. So that's why, and especially Spain because I just love the style of play. You know, the tiki taka or like the fast speed of play, and the more technical players. So it suited me more.
Yeah, yeah. And so I love that like you were like self aware about like, okay, I know I can like probably like play well here, because that might have like suited your game more than moving to, I don't know, somewhere more where the like style of play is more physical or whatever. But um, obviously a lot goes into that decision. Um, and be honest with me right now, because I don't know if I've ever asked you this, but like before going, like, were you scared?
Yeah, I was definitely like scared because then I'm still 16, you know. And then plus I was going by myself during Corona, so like there's a lot of like you had your like
Mm,
papers, you had to have visa, and traveling by myself, my parents weren't allowed to come with me because you needed a visa to enter Spain at that time. So yeah, I was definitely pretty scared, and like the first couple of weeks were definitely like really weird, like nervous, and like my first couple training sessions weren't as good because like I was obviously focused on like, oh, I just came like halfway across the world to come play here. And when you really get there, it's totally different than what you feel like. Oh, I'm gonna go play, it's gonna be fun. But then when you get there, it's like it's totally different living by yourself and in that type of environment.
wait, how though? Tell me, like, go deeper on that. Like how?
I mean, first of all, like the responsibilities, like everything is based on you. You have to get up on your own. You have to do your own. You have to fix your own room. You have to go to training by yourself. There's no one like there to like guess like help you in anything except your teammates and your coaches. But it's totally different than living at home because your parents are not there anymore. Totally different lifestyle. So yeah, I feel like it's just more independent. So that's the main thing. It's more independent.
You think like that, and I feel like that's like something you didn't expect. Maybe you had like an idea of it, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just like do
Yeah.
stuff on my own a little bit, but like it kind of like forces you and like kind of forces you and teaches you to like, no, I'm not gonna say grow up, but like you do like have to learn to like
Yeah,
think about
definitely.
not just yourself but like others too, I guess, and
Yeah.
like you have to, like you said, like it
Because like
is
now
on
you're
you.
you're living with like random people that you've never met before, your roommates. So it's like it's totally different, when you get there.
Yeah, and you had that experience at 16,
Yeah.
whereas most people might have that later, maybe at 18 or 19 in college, and even then they might not even like learn those things until later because nobody's really enforcing them, you know. Whereas with you might have a coach who's like, okay, training starts at this time, be
Yeah.
here.
And if you're not
um
there, then it's like training starts without you, and it just leaves a bad reputation on you, and you might get in trouble.
mm,
Or so it's like everything's on you. Like
yeah,
like if you want to train by yourself, like nobody's forcing you. So like if you want to get better, you know what to do. Like okay, go to the gym later. So there's no one there like, oh come on, let's go. It's all yourself.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Man, and I feel so you probably, and again, this is at 16. Like the human brain isn't even like fully like developed yet, and I always talk about like the mind and brain because that's like my favorite thing to talk about. With psychology and that. So you had to obviously carry that with also not having any real like, I guess, friends, not even, maybe not even like acquaintances, too many at least, like that. um did you have any friends there, or did you have anybody that you knew there like
Um,
beforehand, or was it like
I,
mostly new?
luckily I had like some family that lived in Barcelona at that time.
Okay.
So when I was playing like I had some family that I could go visit on the weekends. So it definitely made it a lot easier. But I wasn't living with them or anything. I would just see them like once a week. So it was still like I didn't know anyone. Everything was brand new. Like I came midway through the season, so that was like really difficult.
Okay.
Yeah, because like everything's already started. The starting positions are already like everything's in set. Like the tactics are in set. So it was a lot to learn, and everything's by yourself.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. And a bit of a tangent for people that don't understand like how that can be like really like difficult, and it might be different with the like footy than with other sports, but like in for the people that don't watch in NFL, which is American football in America, you'll have players like join teams like mid-season, and sometimes they'll find it really difficult to like adjust because, like you said, Tushar, like everything started, positions are set, people have learned like the system or like the way to play essentially, and then you have this brand new person come in who not only wants to like just be a part of it, but you want to start, like, you know, you
Yeah,
want to do well. So people like, of course, they might welcome you with open arms and everything. But like, no, like I want to start. Like that's like I'm
yeah,
central midfielder. I'm the
yeah,
starting number 6, number
yeah. That
8, not
you
you.
feel, yeah, because like when you go there, the people who are already playing is like, I'm the midfielder. Like you just came in, so and
Yeah,
like obviously it took a lot of time to learn, like to get adjusted to their style of play, because obviously Spain has their own style of play, but each club in Spain obviously has a different style of play as well. So it's like a big difference than what I was playing here in the U.S. Like as a midfielder as well, the midfielders in Spain, I feel like way more offensive than here, because here, you sit back, defend a lot in the midfield. It's more like aerial challenges. But over there, it's
yeah,
like go forward through balls, make overlapping runs as a midfielder as well. So it's
yeah,
totally different.
yeah, exactly. I love that, but I love that you got like out of your comfort zone. Um, what were some? Because I moved to Europe, but it was at a later age. You were 16. I was 20 when I went. What were some like kind of harsh realities that you learned? So when you moved to Europe, what were some harsh realities that you like realized in essence that you didn't think about before moving there?
Um, Definitely just probably just the language, because like the more you know the language, the more you're gonna get along with people. I feel so. It's like like the coaches, obviously most of them are Spanish speaking, so I thought it would be easier, but it was really hard to like communicate with the coaches when I first arrived there and know like those terms. Like I already knew a bit of Spanish, but I didn't know like footballing terms in Spanish.
Yeah.
But that was definitely difficult. And like another thing is like everybody, it's very competitive. It's probably like triple as competitive as here. It's not like,
Mm,
oh, it's like, oh, welcome to our team. It's like people are there for a reason and they want to play instead of you. So yeah, you can be friends and all, but like, and especially when a new guy comes, it's just definitely much harder.
yeah. Yeah. A new guy that doesn't speak too much Spanish.
Yeah,
Um, that came halfway through the season. Damn, that's difficult. But like with that being said, you stayed and like you're still there and you're going back obviously next month I believe. um how did you end up how did you like adjust, or how did you adjust to that? Like how did you kind of like mesh and get along with everybody? Because I know it's easier to like do those things like if you're in America and I don't know, like you're going to a new team in America, right? Like you went from one club to another club, you're still in the same general area, you're still in America, you all speak English, but in Spain, like how did you adjust to that and kind of learn to get along with everybody and get into the team?
I mean, I started spending time, like more time with the teammates outside of training, to like get to know them better, and they obviously know you better. Because really, when it comes down to the field, the more they know you better, the more likely it is they're going to pass you the ball. Like that's how it is. If they
Mm,
really know you
okay.
better, and so like I just started trying talking to them more, started talking to the coach more, getting more involved with the team, basically. Because like once you come, like the first day I barely got the ball. I've got the ball maybe a couple times in practice, because like
Mm,
nobody really knows you. They don't know what
yeah,
you can do with the ball. That stuff happens, and especially when you're in a more competitive environment. Like they'll start like smashing balls at you on your first day to see how you play. Stuff like that.
yeah. I
But
feel like I feel
yeah,
like oh sorry, go ahead.
I feel like over the time it took like at least like 2 or 3 months to really settle in, and
Okay.
then probably by the fourth and fifth month, my confidence started to go up. I started playing much better. So it definitely just took longer. Like it just takes time, like 2 or 3 months to really settle in.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think another thing is like people might not just might not even trust you yet, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. They might not even trust you with the ball. It's like, and like that's something you have to build over time. Um, Damn, that's crazy. It's still wild to me that you were 16 when you went, because you do hear about like players going, but usually when they're older. Um, and if not when they're older, it's probably younger. Like going during high school is kind of like, I'm not gonna say it's rare. It is pretty rare because by that time players in America like they're mostly like choosing like, oh, like where should I go to college, which school should I play for after high school. So like, and this is like all you if you want to disclose, but like what are your kind of like next steps, or like what's your like general idea of like what you want to go, like you're just going to keep playing for this team and then are you going to come back to the States for college, or you don't know yet?
Yeah, so basically, like I played for this team in Barcelona for about 6 months. And then after the summer, I went to a different team in Malaga. But like the next step is just to enter a professional academy. Like where the team actually brings you in and they sponsor you and everything. That's like the next step for me. And I think
Yeah.
within a couple of months or maybe in the next year or two, I can definitely reach that.
Okay.
Because that's what I've been working for, and that's what I'm aiming for is to definitely enter a professional academy by like 17, 18. Because it's a big difference, when that team really wants you and they bring you in. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. I remember when I first saw you play in summer of 2019, like you were good, but like obviously you're not what you are now.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
and that like and I'm sure you attribute that to like lots of training and like improvement and stuff. But like I know everybody says like to work hard, like just like you got to work hard, you got to work hard. But like, what did you exactly do to like in the past couple years to like really raise your game? Because I've seen you go from like good player to probably like great player. And throughout it all, like yeah, you've always worked hard. To me, at least what I can see is like you're obsessed, which is like kind of a good thing because that seems to be like the type of players who like just keep going and going and going. They persevere through everything because they're obsessed with the game. What are some things that you've done like to kind of really improve your game? Because I know you've never been like the most physical, biggest player. You've had to be like smarter and more intelligent and stuff.
Yeah. Definitely like tons and tons of individual training. Um, I never really had like great talent as a kid. At 10 or 11 years old, there were definitely tons of players that were better than me. But like now, I've just been working on my technique, and once my technique starting to get like my technical ability started to get pretty good, I just started working on it even more. So now it's like it's my biggest asset in the game. So I don't really have to use my physical like I don't really have to use my physicality really that much, but most of it's just my technicality, my skills, my first touch and passing. Especially as a midfielder, like my key elements right now are like dribbling, passing, long balls, first touch. Like to develop that, like I would just say like I would just devote it to like tons and tons of hours of just training, and for the past like 5 years, I've been training like in my basement where like the spaces are very small. So it's like that small spaces have just like developed me as a player. And like my dribbling has gotten like so refined and like close controlled just because of that. Like training in small spaces and definitely training with the wall like as much as you can. Like intense training with the wall, like like passing it as hard as you can, turning it, using different parts of your feet. Like seeing like what you can do, like can you turn it with your left foot in the air, with the inside of your foot, like on the ground, on the wall, using your chest, using your shoulders, even your thighs. Like I would say just using the wall for especially midfielders, like just developing that touch and control. And yeah, I would just say tons and tons of individual training before like my team trainings in the mornings. What I would do would be like a ton of like close control, tight space passing, dribbling. And then after my trainings at night, I would do like more physical stuff, like go to the gym, try to improve my physique, stuff like that, like resistance training. Yeah. So I think like I've been working on all parts of my game for a long time, and I think that's why I've just gotten to where I am now.
Yeah, I love that. And it's interesting that what you mentioned about like small spaces because I think I think that like I attribute that to like how I learned to like really like what I would do is I would go to like this elementary school near me. So everybody in the US, this is just a hack for you. Actually, everybody listening, this is a training hack for you. So just listen up. If you want to learn how to play faster and play quicker, because a lot of people say like I want to play faster and play quicker. Tushar, I'm sure like you'll have experience with this as well, where you develop this. What you did was like go in your basement with like small spaces in the walls and stuff. I would go to the local elementary school, the one that I actually attended when I was a child. But I would go there and they had like this outdoor courtyard, and it was like four walls. It was like sealed in essentially. Um and it was pretty small space. There were like four walls obviously, but it wasn't like super big. And what I would do is just like you said, I would pass the balls off the walls. I'd like pass the ball off the wall, scan, take it with my left, pass it against that wall, then like scan, go the other way. I would pass it off the walls instead of cones, like random assortments of cones. So just like in a game where you're receiving the ball from a teammate, you might have to all of a sudden beat a player or two or like dribble around somebody. I'm doing the same thing with cones. So I'm essentially training match situations with these walls. So for everybody listening, if you could find a place where you have even two walls, like one straight, like to the left and one in front of you, you can do exactly what I just said. Um, Obviously, if you're enclosed in a space, like Tushar said, and that I did, that's best. But there is so much you can learn and train and just improve. And main one, mimic, copy, match situations if you use these walls and if put a few cones down and stuff. So much you can do. And that's really where like the train effect of like the wall workouts.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I've done them so like thousands, probably like 1,000 times. I've done it so many times.
exactly. And those like work on your technique so good, but like if you pair that like technique that you've worked on with a little bit of like creativity on your own, which I'm sure you've done on your own as well too,
Yeah.
Charles, like that stuff, like it, you will be so much more comfortable in games. And yeah, that's like my long-winded answer of like a really good training hack for everybody to do. I didn't even start playing really until I was 14. I didn't play on my first like team until I was 15 years old. And that was like a recreational team, rec level. And a couple years later, I was playing varsity, played in college, and then I moved to Europe to play and pursue my dreams. So I attribute a lot of it to individual training and like being smart with it. With that being said, what's your favorite like train effective workout? If I could ask you real quick, because I know you're like
Uh,
an OG user.
yeah. Definitely like the wall workouts, all of them, and then all like the dribbling workouts, like the general dribbling, anywhere workouts. Cause
Yeah.
like the anywhere workouts, especially, I've done them like everywhere. Like I've done them in my backyard, my basement, on holiday, at a hotel, like everywhere. You know. And
Do
the
you
best,
see? Go ahead. Sorry.
I think the best thing is like you do those drills and you also incorporate like your own like type of twist to the drills.
Mm.
You kind of incorporate like a different version of the drills, and like you get creative and you make the drills harder and harder for yourself. You know, sometimes you can use like a smaller ball, like a size 2 ball. So obviously because that just works your touch way harder. It's like way better. So you get used to using a smaller ball, and then sometimes like I feel like doing it after when you're tired, because like I feel like an important thing is like can you repeat that same technique from the first minute of the game to the 90th minute? I feel like even when you train technique when you're tired, like if you can really replicate that when you're tired, like great technique, I feel like that's a really good add-on you can have, because like if you can perform well in like the first 15 minutes of the match with that great technique, can you really do that in the last 10 minutes when it really counts? So I feel like that's
Mm.
important. Yeah.
That's actually golden. That's a really good point. And small ball, I'm sure, like you said, you train with a small ball. I used to train with a small ball as well. I would use like a size 1 or a size 3, and I think it's a big help because like it's harder, it's more difficult, and like you said, I would do the general dribbling workout A with like a size 3 ball, and it would make it more difficult. But I don't know. Then you use the big ball in like matches or team trainings, and it's much easier to use the
Yeah,
big ball actually,
I did.
and it's kind of trippy actually. um, but that's good. With that being said, you're actually going to so you're back for obviously Christmas break with your family, but you're going somewhere next week. Where are you headed
I'm
exactly?
actually going to the Train Effective camp in Miami for 2 weeks, so I'm pretty excited for that.
This guy always on the move, always on the move. Now you haven't been to a camp since the 2019 one, and I know we've had like COVID and all this stuff, like
Yeah.
just like awful situation across the earth for the past like almost like 2 years now, almost. Um, what are your like expectations and thoughts? Like, how are you feeling before this camp? Because I know you told me you've been preparing well, but like, what are like what I haven't asked you is like, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling like excited because like I first of all I haven't been there since like to the train affected camp since 2019 just because of COVID and stuff, so it kept getting delayed and delayed. But I'm actually like really excited to come, definitely learn and definitely see like what happens because like I know Performance Global is coming, like, and they're great coaches and there's some scouts there, so we'll see what happens. And I just want to showcase what I have to offer.
Yeah, yeah, you're lucky. I won't be there, or else, like and for anybody that doesn't know, actually, I'm not gonna. Tushar's a baller, and we both nutmegged each other multiple times. I don't know who's in the all-time lead, but we'll save that for another day. Um, but that's exciting, man. And do you have different thoughts on it like now than when you first went in 2019? Because 2019 back then you hadn't really like obviously back then you hadn't moved to Spain yet. You hadn't like done all those things yet. Are you more confident now that you've like been training and all that than you were
Yeah,
before?
I'm definitely more confident. Obviously, like much better of a player than I was 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. So yeah, I'm just excited, and I feel like I can do much more than what I was doing. Um, and I feel like Spain definitely helped me, like with the speed of play, playing faster, playing smarter, playing off a 1-2 touch, knowing when to dribble, when to pass, when to shoot in difficult situations. So yeah, I feel like I can really apply that to the camp, and I think I'll learn a lot and definitely like showcase what I have to offer.
Yeah, yeah, love that. And you're going like right a couple days after Christmas, man. The dedication and stuff is like
Yeah, basically like no, I just came back from Spain like last week, and then I'm already been training, so like yeah, pretty tiring, but it's good.
would you so would you say you're obsessed?
Yeah, I mean, you could say that, but for me, it's like it's not really hard work for me. It's just I love it, so I just always do it.
I love that, bro. I love that so much. Like that mentality, it's gonna make you persevere, man. It's gonna make you persevere, and like I can never stress that enough. To like, just if you and I'm not gonna like force people into like loving what they do, but like if you do love what you do, you're gonna work harder at it. You're gonna persevere through the obstacles. Like when things don't go your way, you're not just gonna be like, man, F this. Like, you're gonna be like, no, like, what can I control in this situation? What can I do to improve the situation? And you'll keep going. And that's like kind of a global message to everybody that, like, if you really do love something, if you're really passionate about something, if you really believe in something, when things get tough, things will get tough. It's not usually in life like it's just a straight line towards the things we want. Sometimes it's actually lots of highs and lows to the things we want, even if they're simple things. So just stick with it. If you truly love it, stick with it, and don't live with those regrets of giving up or quitting on yourselves unless you don't love it anymore. With that being said, Tushar, I'm gonna get into some like rapid fire questions I got for you.
All right, sure.
I don't know what your responses to these are gonna be. We've had various responses to these in the past, and yeah, how this is gonna go is I'm gonna ask you these questions. You have to answer them uh, preferably without thinking too much.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I'm ready whenever you're ready. Are you
Yeah, I'm
ready?
ready. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Score on a half volley or score on a full volley?
Half volley.
Oh, okay. Messi or Ronaldo? Who's a better player?
Both are good, but prefer Messi.
Everyone says that. Who wins the Champions League this year?
Uh, Bayern Munich.
Oh, Deutschland. Who wins La Liga? This will be a tough one for you.
Real Madrid any day.
Oh man, and the posters in the background of Barcelona. That's like treason apparent. No, I'm just kidding. Who wins the Premier League?
Chelsea.
This guy. Uh, who is the better player, Holland or Mbappe?
Uh, Winger, obviously Mbappe, but more skillful Mbappe, better finisher Haaland.
Overall, who's the better player?
Mbappe.
Mbappe. Uh, you get to pick one dessert after training. And
Uh,
I'm not advocating like desserts to everybody, but just a question. Ice cream or cake?
Ice cream.
What flavor?
Cookie dough.
Oh, fascinating. Would you rather win the World Cup or the Champions League?
World Cup.
Fair. Uh, would you rather play? You can only pick one here for the rest of your life. Yeah. You can play for Barcelona, or you can play for the U.S. men's national team.
Barcelona.
Okay, that's actually kind of an easy question. I feel like, um, and I think I already asked this. Your favorite train effective workout?
Yeah, wall workouts and anywhere workout.
Gotcha. Cool. Love that. You said you'd rather score from a half volley than a full
Yeah,
volley. Yeah.
I just
Why?
like the
Why is
technique.
that?
Technique is like so much
The
more cleaner.
technique. And you're probably. I feel like I know what you're talking about. I feel like you're
Like
talking about like the Pavard goal against
have
Argentina.
you seen like Thiago's volley like a couple of
Oh
weeks
yeah,
ago?
yeah, yeah.
The half volley, like the technique, it's just so much smoother. Like I feel like
Yeah.
with like a regular volley, it's just mostly power. But like with the half volley, it's more like you have to really strike it with that like clean
Yeah.
technique. Yeah,
Yeah. You have to really like and you can hit the ball like a number of ways on half volleys. That's the great
yeah,
thing. I'll
yeah,
always like the Thiago one was good. I liked it, but the Pavard goal against Argentina in the World Cup in 2018
yeah. With
on the
ball
edge of the
just
box
goes like yeah, it just like
that
just
and
starts
like
slow. Yeah,
and the way like it's almost like he slices at the ball like he doesn't strike through the ball really. It's so interesting and like bro, you see the ball go like it's just so satisfying to watch and yeah, I don't know. There's something about like hitting the ball on a half volley right after it bounces, like that.
yeah,
It's just like
and
so
just
nice.
passing it like from one side of the field to the other with like a half volley, the
Yeah,
technique. It's just so nice. Like if you can
it's
do it
fun.
properly, it just looks nice.
Yeah, yeah. It makes the game fun, bro. It makes the game fun. Um, Now, with that being said, I know I say with that being said because that's like my default line, but I want to kind of transition into not even all the football players, but just the people in general. Um, what would your message be to anybody out there in the world right now? Because I know it's Christmas time. Everybody's like, lots of people are with their families, but to be fair, lots of people are stressed as well. Shopping, gifts, blah, 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 whatever it is. What would you say to the people that are maybe not having the best of times, that are maybe going through it, that are stressed, that are mentally struggling, that may be going through depression, all these things? What would your message be to them?
Um, I mean, like I feel like you always have to go through like the downs and like the down. I feel like the downs sometimes like after you go through the down, you can really look back and be like, okay, I actually learned a lot from that. I came out stronger. Um, Especially also I relate to football a lot. Like when you're not playing well and stuff, you end up training harder. You end up doing more than what you regularly do. So it's like I don't know. I feel like you'll learn more, and obviously it's like really hard in the downs, especially out of football, like depression or something like that. It's hard, but I feel like you'll definitely come out stronger, and I feel like you'll be glad that sometimes you went through what you went through because not really people can relate, and you have that kind of maybe advantage in some areas of life. Like okay, I know how to deal with this situation now, or I know what to do. So I feel like yeah, it happens to everyone, but um, yeah, I think once you overcome it, you'll really be proud of yourself.
Beautiful, man. I love that, and I think footballers too have to. I always hit this message home. Like footballers also have to like look after their mental health and like think about these things too, like what you just said, because it's like a lot of times our identity gets wrapped up in how good we play on the pitch,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
it's like that's not it's not like that. You know, you're more
Yeah,
than just a footballer. Even though football might be a large part of who you are and what you do, um, that's good and that's great and everything, but it's not 100% who you are. You know, you're also a brother, a sister, a son, a daughter, all those things. So I think it's always good to keep that perspective. Um, and kind of the last real question I have for you, and this one you might not be prepared for. I didn't even tell you this in the beginning. And this one usually, I remember we had an MLS player, Sam Junqua. You remember Sam?
Oh, I know the
Um,
question. I think I know the question. Yeah.
yeah, maybe you remember the question, but I asked him, and even he was like, "Huh, like a really good question."
Yeah.
Um, the question is, who do you want to be remembered as, or what do you want to be remembered for?
I've thought about this a lot. I think because maybe you've asked me before, like off the podcast, like you've asked me this definitely maybe. But once I retire or when I'm dead or whatever, I think like just inspiring kids who have not who are not in the spotlight, who are not already in professional academies, who are, let's say, not as wealthy as others or don't have the connects or they're minorities, and they're coming from places where maybe football is not as good, or their parents don't support them as much, or their friends always like kind of like make fun of them and saying like you can't make it and stuff. I really want to inspire like those kids, because like I know there's like so much talent out there, like all over the world. There's so much talent that can be like once you have that talent, once you start working on it, you can just become like amazing. So I want to like inspire those kids, like you can come from anywhere, like it doesn't matter, and like to just keep pushing when everything seems like okay, you're not gonna make it or something. You just keep working harder, and I feel like after I retire, something that I can inspire those kids, like, and show them, like, it really is possible. Like, it's not like a cliche or anything. It's not fake. Like everybody says, oh yeah, everyone has a chance, because that is true. I mean, everyone does have a chance, and you know, the best players don't make it, so like it makes room for everyone. Whoever's
Yeah,
really there, working hard, focused. They really love what they do. They're there every day, 100%. Obviously you'll have bad days, but like your consistency of like just showing up and like doing the work is a very big part. So I feel like
mm,
I want to like kind of inspire those kids who don't have, as let's say, as much as the other kids who are not in the spotlight, already playing for big academies and stuff like that.
did you so like I love that, first of all, like, well done. I think you've already inspired and you continue to inspire so many people. um do you think that, not a chip on your shoulder, but do you think like you are viewed in a different light because um so I know your family background, your background's like from India and Jamaica.
Yeah,
um so like India has like 1 billion people, but
yeah,
they're not really on the world map of like
football and
football,
all. Yeah,
Same with like Pakistan, like cricket over there, like in Pakistan, even like South Asia, it's like cricket and stuff like that. So did you think like did you ever view yourself like different, or view yourself as having a chip on your shoulder because like you were brown? Um, do you think it was like an advantage or a disadvantage, or how did you kind of view that? Because I know a lot of people do say like, oh, like, like from my country, like people don't make it from my country, people don't make it from my country, blah 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 blah. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I was definitely lucky to be born in the U.S., so like definitely have better facilities and all. Because I really feel it is a disadvantage to people who live in countries where they
Yeah,
don't have the facilities, they don't have the coaches, and like it's really more expensive there because it's not as well available. Like here, there's so many clubs, so many academies. I mean, it still is expensive, right? Like, don't get me
yeah,
wrong, it's still expensive, but at least we have like fields to train at. We have like coaches we can play, who can train with. um, but yeah, I feel like being a minority as well, it's like definitely like you're less likely to interact with those coaches or know more coaches or know more players and know different scouts and clubs. It's definitely true. Like I've seen it happen and stuff. Um, and I mean, like it's also cool in a way where you're gonna like if you make it professional or make it big, you would definitely be like one of the first or very few from your country who's made it to that big stage. And I feel like from there, you can show like people from like kids from your country that like I made it, so can you. It's like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And that's such a that's where like that legacy talk comes in, and the who you want to be remembered as and what you want to be remembered for comes in, bro. Because then like, not like you, bro. My like, even if like you inspire like one person to like take action and like go
Yeah,
after it,
still, I feel like it's still a big thing if you inspire like very few people, but still a big
hundred
thing.
percent, 100%. And I love that like you have that mentality mindset, and I'm sure I'm positive you're gonna like continue to do that as you ascend higher and higher and hit those high ranks. And damn, it's crazy. You're only 16. It's like gonna get me crying on the podcast. But yeah, man, I love that. Beautiful words. And for those that don't know, we're gonna do a part 2 with Tushar actually while he's at the camp. So for the people that want to know what it's like to be at a Train Effective camp, um, this one will be in Miami, Florida, in the United States. For those who want to know what it's like to be at that camp, you'll find out. And actually, I'll kind of find out as well because I've not been on the ground for that camp. Because this will be our first one in the U.S. So next week, watch out for that. And Tushar will give us his honest, unfiltered view and perspective what it's like. And yeah, we'll try to catch you. Obviously, we won't haggle you. We'll try to catch you on a day where you're like free or something, because your focus should be on training and developing and all those things. But Tushar, thank you so much, man, for
Thank you so
coming on.
much for bringing me on here. I really loved it. It was fun.
Yeah, man, such a pleasure, bro. And I'll have you on again next week. For everybody who wants to follow Tushar Tolani on Instagram, for Spotify listeners, it's in the description of the podcast. You can just click on there and follow Tushar. Myself as well. I'm also in there. For YouTube people, we are down below. And also feel free to message Tushar and myself if you have any footy questions, or if you just need someone in general to talk to, because we're always here to help with that side, as I think we all should be for each other. So with that being said, thank you, everybody. And make sure to stay effective. Right,
Okay.
Tushar?
Stay effective.
Yes, sir.